And we are getting into our first match here. It's a banger day here on Friday. Our first match is nothing else than Lin versus 120. And I had the pleasure of casting their past encounter, the last encounter. And there was a best of 7 as well in the AWL Grand Final. A sick back and forth that Lin eventually took with a 4-3. But that was all Headhunter days. And now things have changed a little bit because the undeads are opening up with ghouls more and more. And if there's one player in the world who can find a solution against that, it's obviously Lin.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this one. We are on the cutting edge of the developing meta right here. 120 was the first to really introduce the ghoul opening into the meta against Orc. Happy picked it up, and now everyone's playing it, and it's up to the Orcs to respond. It's not harder for them. It's not so easy to dominate the early game as with the old Ted Fiend build. And now the question is, what will the Orcs do in return? We've been seeing quite a bit of Blade Master showing his face again, for example.
Oh, please, please, please. Play like Fly. Just play like Fly did against Happy. Currently, both players are sitting on the very tippity top of the ranking here in Doubi Pro Max Cup. 120 already 3 matches, 12-2 map score. That is 3 points. Lin with a 2-0 score. So both are undefeated. That will obviously change for one of them. Can 120 get revenge for the AWL Grand Final? Or will it be him once more? Thank you for the subs, Mako and Orc Pluckin for the bits, as well as Tyrad for the 15 Canadian dollar donation. This is nothing for all the great job you guys are doing. I'll do a monthly tip so soon. Please keep this awesomeness going. And we kick off our match, Remo Demo. Playday 5, Concealed Hill.
Very poggers indeed. Thank you guys all so very much for the contribution. Dude, I was looking at that 15 Canadian dollars. I have no idea how much that is in euros. Like, no
clue. We have to ask Carson later. He will hopefully know.
Yeah, Carson just came back from California. I imagine he doesn't have much money after that trip.
He needs some money indeed. Remo, we were hoping for a Blade Master, and this is the first little disappointment of the day.
Yeah, indeed, it's a Farseer with a fast tech. Seeing the wall mill coming down now. The downside of playing Blade Master is, if the undead mind games you and plays a fast expansion, either Cryptlord Fast Expo or DK Fast Expo, it can turn into a very tough game. Some would even say unwinnable. However, on this map, fast expansion impossible for the undead if the Orc is being aggressive. So for that reason, a Blade Master here wouldn't come with much of a risk, but Lin still playing the Farseer instead. Maybe he's doing it because of item reasons, partly, because on this map, it is pretty tough to get a stacked blade unless you get really lucky at the red camps.
Yeah, I agree. This might also be the map where he wants to play Wyvern. They have become, or they are, very efficient on Concealed Hill because of how fast you can creep, because of the vision you get above the trees, and another indicator for that is a super duper mega fast tech by Lin.
Yeah, he wants to get tier 2 out ready, get the TC out creeping quickly with a couple of headhunters, and get some creeping in before the Lich arrives with Coil Nova Harass. The big goal for the Farseer will be to slow down the DK, make sure he doesn't get level 3 too easily, or at least drain a lot of mana out of him.
We see once again the little mini game between Undead and Orc. Who gets these last hits? 120 and Happy both got so good at that, at finding the perfect timing, so the lightning bolts and the wolves have no chance to get some. But Lin is bringing in the damage. Coiled already used. This one ghoul about to die. Is he diving? Yeah, Narrow Tower is up as well, so that's some additional resources that you kind of want to use in units and not in structures. Still not getting the kill. Nope, Narrow Tower proves to be a solid defense.
Yeah, both players playing this very well so far, like we've been expecting. 120 makes sure to get all the last hits, of course, with Coil and so many ghouls around. He's always going to have the last hit advantage. Lin wasn't given an opportunity, but Lin also forced a lot of mana out of the DK. 3 Coils already forced, with a 4th one probably forced soon. And like I said, this is very important to drain the mana out of this Death Knight.
And it works fine. It's kind of cool to see the different approach of Lin and the others, but what? Okay, 120 again lasted. Fly, for example, and also I think an Infi went for the DK pretty hard to get him below 50%. Lin, very different approach, is going for the ghouls.
Now the first headhunter comes in, that adds a lot more damage, beneficial against these ghouls to, again, drain the coils. But also you need to be careful with the positioning. You want to have these headhunters at max range to make sure they don't get surrounded, because of course with the aura, there's always a threat. And there was the first last hit finally for the Farseer. 37 now on him. Of course, with his aggressive play, he's going to be a lot lower experience compared to the DK. But as long as he prevents level 3, it should be worth it.
I agree. All the ghouls so hurt. 120 is doing a miraculous job in saving them all, and now use the region of the Blight, even moves the DK back in to get this tiny bit of extra HP regen thanks to the Unholy Aura. And in not too long of time, these will all be healthy and green again.
Yeah, absolutely. I like also the conservative nature in 120. He's not overusing the coils. He knows how valuable that mana is, especially if he gets level 3. Check out Lin's main base. He teched to tier 3 without a bestiary on only 2 burrows. This is one of the greediest tier 3 techs that we ever see.
Okay, but can he afford it? I mean, yeah, there is a lot of ghouls, but 4 of them can't really use it because they're hurt. He needs levels though kinda soon. TC is out. Barely any experience on Lin. This could be super genius and it works out with the tier 3 units, or he's failing horribly.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea. The thing is, when you play like this, super aggressive and a super fast tech, by the time your third hero comes out, Shadowhunter that is, there's going to be lots of creeps still left on the map, and maybe he's going to be able to get all heroes to level 3 before the first big fight, and that's always a big power level up for the orc. He's very level reliant on the TC and Shadowhunter. They both need to be level 3 to be decent in the fight, whereas Lich and Dark Ranger not so level reliant. Of course, the DK will need level 3, which he'll get soon, because he's parallel creeping with the ghouls. Oh, a bit stressful. With my multitasking, probably wouldn't be able to pull that off, but 1-0 does it nice.
Dude, with my multitasking, I wouldn't even have sent the ghouls there or even selected them. But imagine a chain lightning in this beeline. Not happening thus far because, of course, we're not level 2. So this will be, oh, maybe 2 more coils.
Yeah, very nice read. The fact that Lin realizes something's going on here, just to have the opportunity to maybe steal the item and also put damage on. This is a big play, actually. The damage here on the DK means that it's going to be almost impossible for 1-0 to be aggressive soon. Farseer might pay the price, but honestly, it's a level 1 hero. Even if he dies, it's not that bad.
I agree. Timing is more important. Coil Town Portal saves the Nova for the Null Overseer so the wolves can't get them. Item, ring, the parry up, not too bad, but the TC was creeping in the meantime. He's level 2. I was very pleased to see that he went for Stomp first and not Aura. That helped him in this little skirmish over the crab. And now brawling continues. A lot of defensive items thus far. A couple of rings, couple of parry abs. But what is Lin doing with a fast tier 3 now? That's his big advantage, and this is where he has to gain an advantage on the map.
Overlord Trap works out. I would definitely be expecting a Shadowhunter, but we don't see it yet. Okay, there it is. Just a few seconds after tier 3, so the main purpose here was get the second and third hero out quickly while the Farseer buys time, because those are your carries. Overleveling the Farseer doesn't do much. Why? Because he's very weak in the late game. You need the levels on the TC and Shadow, and you need to make sure you don't take too much damage in the early game, because that can happen. If the DK gets level 3 quickly, the Lich shows up, Coil Nova, 4 Headhunters die, you're gonna have a bad time. But Lin played this really well. Beautiful game by himself.
And it's a very different approach from how Fly played this, who always delayed the third hero until the very first fight was over, and he made sure that both first and second hero were level 3, then queued the Shadowhunter, and seemed very, very successful in what he did. But yeah, not the same here. DK is scouting, both are approaching the laboratories for the consumables. We have a big Invo Potion on the TC, who's a very tanky, but also smart cow.
Yeah, it's a great item for him, either to save him in danger or to break through the first silence. In the first fight, when the TC uses the Invo Potion and where he's positioned to use the first stomp can oftentimes decide the fight. If you hit 5+ ghouls with a stomp, that can sometimes win you the fight already, and Lin knows he's gonna have to be fast with his reactions.
44 supply for 120, no level 3 yet. He needs this Trapper, gets level 3 precisely as 120 lines up the Tri-Hero combo as well with the Dark Ranger added with Silence, of course. No level 3 Lich here. That is quite an advantage. Statues are up. Destroyer form is not finished.
Very tentative game so far. We haven't seen much fighting yet. I would say it's pretty clear that both players respect each other. Both rated very highly in the eer0 rankings, just behind Happy. But now, Lin finds his chance, or is rather looking for his chance. He wants to get the creep jack in, but 1-0 falls back. Doesn't want to be caught between the creeps and the opponent.
Level 2 coil, level 1 Nova. CORSAIR has nothing. No TP, of course he used that earlier. No invo potion from the shop. Here comes the TC. Will he be silenced? No, not really. Catching only 2 heroes, not perfect. And now the ghouls are coming in, and that's the big trouble for the orcs. How do you fight against all these ghouls? He's trying with Chain Lightning. No Wyvern here for the big damage. Coil executes a Headhunter. Another Headhunter is going down. So far, it's looking like a clinic for 1-0, but there's way more Stomps coming in.
Yeah, didn't he have to use the invo potion yet? That stomp is wonderful. Coil comes towards the Destroyer. That one's healed up once again. The DK has more mana, but the Destroyer falls. That's a big deal. Lin kiting with his units as best as he can. The Dark Ranger doesn't have the Skellies yet to use.
True. More ghouls falling, more headhunters falling. Ghouls were chasing them to the north, and this one goes right in. But Lin only wants the heroes. We all know how strong undead heroes are. There was another coil. Kodo has eaten, will devour soon. It's not too much damage still in, and the statues untouched. The regen on 1-2-0 is fantastic.
Yeah, pretty even exchange so far. Both players fall back. The thing is, if the game stays very even and everyone just levels up across the map, nobody's expanding, it favors the undead because their triple hero is stronger than the orcs triple hero because of the late game weakness of the CORSAIR. Lin still needs to get something done. He doesn't just want to get into a fair and even one base late game.
Transition into Fiends by 1-0 for some more piercing damage. The ghouls will at some point be too fragile. Yeah, CORSAIR not too great, but if there's still a lot of ghouls, then Chain Lightning can, on level 2, be very, very good. Here comes the TC, is silenced at the moment. Nuke again on the Headhunter, now he's down. Level 3 on the CORSAIR, goes for Chain Lightning, and here we see it. Ghoul HP reduced to 50% immediately. Stat 2, only 1 remaining, and maybe that's the chance for Lin to open up this fight now.
Yeah, positionally also this fight is really important. Oh, look at those saves, dude. Both just barely getting away. But the ghouls are fast. They're looking for the kills. Double end snare. Oh, almost saved them both. Both players with critical high-level plays. But yeah, this fight here is important. Whoever backs off doesn't just lose the fight, but also loses the fountain.
TC has so much mana still, doesn't stop the DK from using a coil, rather focuses on the Destroyer, and that's successfully so. Now got Hex, so the Tri-Hero disable is up. Oh, that Stomp was really good. Can he capitalize from it? Still focuses on the ghouls to get even more experience. But, you know, the statues are back online. No heal scroll, but the supply. Look at his supply. It's so even.
And again, it's about the fountain. The healing here is going to be nice, and also the item, of course, is going to be big. The raiders that were healing there, now ready for the fight again. These end snares are very important. He catches the statue finally. Statue kill would be big, but a bad position. The Nova covers the attack, if you will. TC still has more stomps to use. He was very conservative with his mana so far, but we see the Coil Nova flying out, more orc units going down, and especially the Shadowhunter not having much heal wave left is a big problem.
Yeah, not having level 3 as well, while the Lich was rising up. Now we got skeletons too. The longer this goes, the better it is for 1-2-0, and Lin's army seems a little one-dimensional if you ask me. No Kodo here anymore, needs to heal. No Wyvern in for additional damage. No items as well. This is really not that great, and Lin realizes a straight up fight. I can't take this. I gotta do a little backstep. I gotta catch these reinforcements, but every time he engages, there's just Coil Nova.
Stomp and Chain Lightning, good damage there against the ghouls. Like you pointed out, it is level 2 Chain Lightning, so the ghouls are getting taken out pretty quickly. Maybe that's the reason why we see a transition into Fiends slowly. But mostly, it's Destroyers. No ghouls, no Fiends, just mass Destroyers. Headhunter's good against that, but only in high numbers, and Lin isn't getting to those high numbers.
Oh, never. Would love to see this 1 or 2 Bat Riders coming in just to force Web or E the Coil Nova on them, so the ground is a little more safe. Relatively fast to produce, they do have an impact, but Lin, not the biggest fan of that unit. And finally, after like 4 minutes of brawling, we do get the red spot into the hands of 1-2-0 and Rune Bracers.
Lin finally gonna back up a little bit with his tail tucked between his legs. He knows he lost that fight, he lost that fountain, and now he's even giving up the natural to the opponent, after which the main base could be assaulted right after. But Lin wisely going for reinforced defenses at the perfect time. This is gonna protect his burrows a bit more while he's trying to keep creeping, maybe in the north, but he's uncertain whether he wants to go to the other fountain. Level 3 Shadowhunter, very needed.
Oh, there is no reinforced defenses, Remo. He's just researching it. There was maybe an opening, but 1-0 not willing to commit with mana being low. I was real scared of these two burrows here in front.
Check out the Kodo in the north. There's a fiend there. Lin was pretending as if his army was up there to try to force a fight in his main because he knew 1-0 would be attacking. But 1-0 then backed up upon seeing the Orc army there. Really nice little cheeky play by Lin, but doesn't quite work out to his advantage. Definitely now the Undead with the lead in this game. Level 4 DK, level 3 Dark Ranger just achieved. That is huge for the Black Arrow.
Oh yeah, the items are getting better and better as well with the Claw +9 on the Lich. Heal Stroll against the Stomp and Chain Lightning, very smart. Plus an expansion on the back of things. When do we ever see an Undead expanding faster than an Orc?
I guess that means that 1-0 really sees himself far in the lead, and I think he's correct in assuming so. Here we go, towards the burrows. Thank goodness, reinforced defenses is finished, otherwise all these burrows would fall within seconds. But even with reinforced, some will be going down. 5 destroyers up in the air. Not often do we see that.
Feels like Lin is running out of options. What can he possibly do? Definitely not building any units anymore, so he's stuck on 55. 10 supply down. Plus the expansion. He has to put out a fire in his base and the one in the north. Very smart strategic play by 1-0.
And even if Lin engages here, he might not necessarily be favored. The Undead hero is so strong now, and the Shadowhunter is still missing a bit. Dodges the end snare with the statue morph for the second time. We saw that earlier as well. And in we go. Silence again. The TC never using the immo potions to break through the silence. I wonder if that's a mini micro mistake by Lin here in this series. The storms haven't been connecting too well. By this point in the game, I guess most of the destroyers anyways. 6 destroyers in the air by the Lich. In trouble. Heal potion. Oh my god, last second. Saves the second hero. Dispelling against the Hex, and now the heroes can take over again for 1-0.
That is a sign of desperation already. Aiming for the Lich. It rarely ever works. Damage of destroyers without mana is not that great, but it's enough because they're untouchable at the moment. 1-0, 1-0.
Good game. Both players showing a great display of skill here. I really like the early game and general build by Lin. He also executed it well. If you attack this greedy and then try to level up in the mid game and late game later with the Shadowhunter, you can very easily get punished by Coil Nova and lose Headhunters in the mid game. He managed to keep them all alive, but still didn't quite pull through in the end. Maybe being on the right-hand side, contesting the red camp, maybe that was his tactical error. Maybe he should have just been on the left-hand side and just avoid fights while he's creeping up the Shadowhunter to 3.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. Also, the fights didn't look too clean for Lin yet. I've seen more impressive Orc play against the Undeads recently, but maybe this was just a warm-up game. Maybe it was Farseer on this map, not the greatest. We have Autumn Leaves coming.
Absolutely, and we talked about good Blade Master maps. This is a marvelous Blade Master map. There's so many claws possible here. There's a circlet that you can easily buy as well at the shop if you creep it. There's a good level 3 creep route, and this is also where in the game against Happy, Lin got the win with the Blade Master and kind of re-ushering in the era of Blade Master, perhaps. I've been expecting the Blade to take over this meta a lot longer ago, where I was wrong and the Farseer still remained dominant. But I would imagine this is the time for some Muro to show his face again.
Yeah, I would love that. Also, I love to see the support for our channel. Thank you, Knuffy Bunny, for the 1-year resub, and Ataria for the 13-month resub. Had to resub to 1-up there a little, right? Alright, Autumn Leaves could be a very, very different game. Another sub coming in, Sturmgeweihter. That is a powerful and mighty nickname. 18-month already. Greetings from East Frisia. 1-0 fighting. That's where I come from. It's from my home region, Remo.
I know. In the wonderful lands of Wiesmoor and Aurich.
Yes.
How could I not know? I gotta go there on vacation sometime. You know, some people want to go to like beautiful Nepal or the Bahamas or the Maldives, but they don't know what they're missing if they don't go to East Frisia.
Yeah, thousands of cows and tens of people.
Amazing.
Game number 2, everybody. Ding, ding, ding. Can Lin take it back? Or will 1-0 blow ahead with the 2-0? Lynn, bottom left-hand side in the blue. Is it a Farseer Grunt Opener? Or is it a Blade Master? And is it the same Ghoul strat by 120? So many questions, Remo.
Yeah, Farseer Grunt opening into Headhunters can still be strong here. You can get a fast level 3 creep route. But that's only going to make you strong in the mid-game. It has by now become very apparent. The Farseer simply falls off a lot, because especially of Destroyers. The Wolves don't do anything against Destroyers, and also Chain Lightning, not so reliable. The Peon comes out, doesn't make a War Mill, and that should mean a Blade Master.
Blade Master it is. My blade thirsts. And I'm the biggest fan in the world of big red numbers, Remo. The critical strikes for example, Fly, were absurd. And Lynn, can he play the Blade Master even better than Fly did against Happy in the Show Cup? He has to, if he wants to stand a chance here.
Yeah, Blade Master, always a very flashy hero, can be really cool. It's a bit luck dependent, of course, between Purge from the Orb and Critical Strike. Sometimes the game can be decided a bit by RNG, also thanks to Banshee Curse. A lot of RNG could be a factor later on. And to throw even more RNG on top, it's about items as well. Blade Master, one of the strongest heroes in the game. If he gets the right items, he scales with them amazingly. And one of the heroes that gets punished the most by bad items. If he doesn't find damage items, it half loses you the game.
So, yeah. It's also good if he's tanky and, you know, stays alive, unlike Fly on Turtle Rock. But I don't want to make too many references here. That game was last week. This is the updated version, hopefully. Ghoul creeping, impressive as always, especially against the Berserker, thanks to the damage types. And Lynn already on the way to tier 2 and Gloves of Haste.
Yeah, the level 3 creep route here is very convenient to go for on both sides for all races. It's green shop natural, and that's perfect level 3. And if you want to, you can even pick up a circlet on the way and boost up your first hero quite nicely, especially if it's a right-click hero, which of course the Blade Master is. But he is not creeping passively. Lynn, moving out now with Speed Scroll and Heal Salves, wants to intercept the level 3 creep route of 120. That's also smart. He might be able to creep back the opponent there if he's there, and if not, he can take it away and still prevent the level 3 down.
True, but feels like 120 already expected that, sidestepping a little, not going to the more rewarding shop creep, but rather the small expansion one. Gets a mantle, also not too bad, and he might be in time for the steal. Doesn't want to, though. Too risky against the Blade, apparently.
Yeah, important last hit there. Blade gets level 2, and we see the first crit of the game. 92. Let's see how high we can go here on map number 2.
And snare on the Ghoul. Where's the focus going? Onto the DK to force the entire army back, on the Ghoul to get the kill, on the hero, on the creeps to level up. Very risky situation. Feels like Lynn's play is not working out at all.
Yeah, the Ghouls and the DK just simply stronger here so early on compared to just one Grunt and one Blade. But the DK
block.
take a lot of damage. Very smart by Lynn. If he can force the TP here, that would be perfect. He's got the Speed Scroll. Wants to force the TP out of the DK.
Whoa!
Oh, and he dies! He wanted to use the coil before. A huge mistake.
He got the item
DK
as well!
falls and the item as well. Oh. 1-0, making the mistake that cost Moon the game back then at WGL, or yeah, WGL Grand Final. He forgot that when you use spell animation, and you're in spell animation, you can't use TPs, you can't use items. Normally items always instantly trigger, but if you're in spell animation, they don't.
And shout out to myself for caster cursing 120. I said Lynn's play is not working out at all. Boom, level 2.5 hero kill. That's how Warcraft games can go. And Blade Master, now the trifecta is online. He's tanky, does a lot of damage, he hits fast and he hits hard. And gets another Ghoul.
Yeah, sick early game by Lynn. By the way, also, this little exchange at the shop where he got the hero kill, this was also the perfect play by him. Like, he knows he can't win a fight. It's too many Ghouls, it's too many Skellies. The DK level 2 is very strong. The only way he can hold position there and dominate is by forcing the TP away. And better than that, he got the kill on the DK and more Ghouls. This
And
game
more crits.
is looking marvelous.
So far, yep, I would argue he needs level 3 soon to just roam around with Windwalk and buy time for the Shadow Hunter. But tier 3 uncontested, his entire part of the map uncontested, can creep a lot very, very soon while still putting pressure on the DK and Ghouls with the Blade Master. The map is wide open for Lynn and his Saint Sword.
And during nighttime, there's always an orc favorite thing to do. Go for the merc camp. That berserker can be very helpful. But 1-0, very much aware of the orc tendency to try to go for the merc camp, is scouting for it, finds it out. And now it's a bit risky for Lin. Does he really want to try for this one? No. Gonna fall back. And Lin, a bit inactive here with the Blade Master for a little while. Not leveling up too quickly, but with the Shadow coming in, he's gonna feel confident enough to take the big item.
Okay, Wind of Mana stealing only for 1-0. Dire Wolf gone, heal wards, phenomenal. But there's level 3. Can 1-0 at least get the last hit? No, because the Hex is faster.
Yeah, 1-0 is kind of catching up. The level 3 on the DK was important. His HP and mana is looking good now. And the ghoul count isn't too bad. But of course, still, we have to remember that cost resource to revive the DK. 2 ghouls were killed. Lin still has the lead this game, but it's not insurmountable.
Yeah, and I think, I'm not 100% sure, but the DK, I guess, occupied the altar as well. So Lich is a little bit late, no creeping there. An entire level advantage on the second hero. Also quite an advantage on the tier 3. And heal wards for creeping, just glorious.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping out on the blade for now. But it also means he could be going for a fast red camp if he feels so bold. And the red camp, a lot of great items can drop. Unfortunately, the orc has 2 of their own auras that can drop from there. That can be a bit unlucky at times. But also, claws plus 12 and some of the stat items can be marvelous. Slippers as well, hell yeah.
Yeah. We're getting there, Remo. We are getting there. Just need level 2 and 3 critical strike and maybe claw plus 12 from the rad spots, and then we're good.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the map here. Normally, it is fairly reliable for the blade to find some good items. You got 2 claws camps, you got a slippers camp, and you got plenty more camps as well. Maybe you get lucky at the red. So this is the big difference compared to Concealed Hill, where it's a lot harder to stack the blade. And I imagine, on this map specifically, the blade will be becoming more and more of a staple again.
So, yeah, I definitely agree. How can 1-0 get back into this? Leveling the Lich is necessary. The items look okay. The ghouls kind of don't. Is that time for a Hazuops-esque destroyer push against Burrows? Because I think Lin feels too comfortable to go for reinforced defenses.
It's always a bit of a risk. You never know where the opponent's going to be. You never know if you're going to get caught out. But if it applied at the right time, it can be a huge play. Of course, the orcs never have a TP, so there is a chance to catch them out. It's going to be up to the Blade Master now to gather information, find out where the undead is, and not get blindsided by them, and have the proper counterplay ready.
Is the Blade Master in time? TC will see the light of day before this push. It is a lot of ghouls, and yeah, the Blade Master is very, very good with crits, we all know that, but it's all single target. The Chain Lightning is certainly missing, but 1-0 sees, hey, damn, he's home. I wanted to knock on his door and enter immediately, but that ain't happening. Is it another circlet for Lin or the Invo Potion? Invo Potion gone? 1-0 got it though.
Yeah, no Invo Potion on the blade is dangerous. There's Heal Wave to back him up, but no invulnerability. Blade Master has to be careful with his movement. Here comes the Heal Wave. Now 1-0 knows it's on cooldown for a long time. Speed Scroll, TC trying to run in, land the perfect stomp. But 1-0 is going to back off. Doesn't want to take this fight. Maybe. Or Stomp lands here nicely. Blade Master clearing the camp, has a heal scroll as well. This fight looking good so far for the orc, I'd say, despite having no orb on the blade.
Oh, heal wave was just used. That TC will be dead in a second. Can he get the revenge kill? The statues once more, providing so much regen. This Blade Master, oh, the Raider block. The Hex comes in. Does he have another end snare? Maybe that's a TP guaranteed. If he gets a crit, oh my god, what is there playing with fire? Nicely min-maxing this situation here. It takes the Raider and saves the hero at the same time. But the game is still looking very good for Lin.
Yeah, TC's gonna be back before too long. Would love to get him to level 3, although that's hard to achieve. The great thing about the TC is, in the late game here, even on level 2, he receives a big boost. The Blade Master, a very strong hero if he's nicely supported. And every bit of steroids is good for him. More damage, more attack speed, even more movement speed is good for the Blade. Really good. So just level 2 TC would be grand. TC comes out here, doesn't have enough experience to get the level 2 at the green, and slowly we're gonna go to the big creep camps here. The red camps hold big rewards for whoever takes them. The problem for 1-0 is it's pretty hard to creep the tools.
Oh yeah, the Granite Golem is fierce. Now we got an Invo Potion on the Blade Master. I'm Kind of surprised he doesn't have an orb yet, but maybe wanted to go up to 50, equip himself with a little drink, and then go for the orb, because that orb of lightning makes life of statues a lot harder if they live. I think they kind of do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always expensive. Orb of lightning, 375 gold. In my opinion, it's almost never worth it for the other orc heroes, but for the Blade Master, it is great. Now he's got the gold and he's got the orb, but no invuln on the blade. It's a bit worrisome. Lynn's gonna have to keep that in mind.
Maybe the circlet... Oh no, passes over the gloves and gets a heal potion instead. To break out of the silence on the TC, I assume. Yes, exactly. Plus 26 bonus damage. Are you satisfied with that, Remo Demo?
That could become some big red numbers soon once he gets level 4. But for that level 4, still a bit is missing. I think the early game, Lyn should have been creeping a bit more. I think once he killed the DK, he should have been going creeping hard, but he squandered his lead just a little bit. Not to say that he's behind. I would say still Lyn with a bit of a lead, as now we go into the next fight. TC trying to land the perfect stomp. DK, or Blade Master rather, getting focused right away. May need to use the potion, has to back up, of course, the Frenzy Ghouls. Quite a bit of damage.
There is reveal. TC in the middle of everything. An epicenter stomp, but where's the follow-up? He gets 1 or 2 now, but Blade Master's prime target is statues with the heal ward. Quickly cancelled, of course. TC is in a bit of trouble, used all his mana, so that's fine. Lich at 50%. DK mana is okay. Potion on the blade, and he gets the destroyer with it. This is just lousy. 33 supply left, and the ghouls are falling rather quickly. The blade... once again, proves to be the hero at the moment. Healing against the TC. This is excellent execution by Lyn. And it's also an execution of the Dark Ranger soon.
Yeah, wonderful hero usage here. That save with a heal scroll and heal wave. Lyn always ready with the perfect items. The invul exactly where he needed. The heal pot exactly where he needed. Blade Master goes into the back, takes out the statue. The undead's backbone and sustain in those fights. That's the biggest strength of the Blade Master. Being able to take them out. Maybe can even take out the Lich. Not quite yet. There's a few more coils ready. And finally a Banshee. 1-0, I think. Going for Banshees a bit too late this game. Might cost him that too.
Yeah, he's not as fond of Banshees as we are, or also Happy is. The curse can do a lot, but yeah, he was never really a big fan in the past couple of years. He still survives. Oh, Kodo, what are you doing there? Banshee is dead though. Way more important. Oh, way more important. It's also important.
Yeah, and unlike with the Farseer, the late game here belongs to the Orc. This triple hero combo is perhaps the strongest in the game if the levels are achieved. And the Blade Master is about to hit 4. The TC just hit level 2. And the Blade Master is plus 26. How high can we go with these crits? Going for the DK again, and there's no TP anymore.
Oh, heck. Silence on the TC, so no stomp for now. Can he get one out? Doesn't seem like it. Needs a crit on one of these heroes, and then he's dead. But yeah, TC level 2 falling. Maybe a little bit too greedy, not respecting the silence too much, but here's the backstab.
First and purge.
Is it?
First and purge.
Is it? Waiting for the perfect moment. Wants to get up front, but now DK is back. Only gets the statues. That could have been worse for 1-2-0. He's finding small little openings one by one, as you should play it with Coil Nova. Take a unit here and there, but that is almost an executed. Misses the crit. Almost an executed Dark Ranger here. 1-0, making this a longer game than we expected. Fighting bravely. One mistake by Lyn and the game could turn again.
Finds the DK now, perhaps finding the potion force. Going for the Hex. Can he get the damage in before the DK has the time for the invuln? Oh! One more hit would have done it. But now the Blade Master might be going down. Oh my god, if there was a Nova, he would have been dead. Lyn playing a bit with fire right here.
Exactly. If you overcommit once, 1-0 tears you apart. And that's the sign of retreat. You need potions, you need healing, you need the TC back. Lyn wanted to end the game right here, but 1-0 says no, not yet.
And now the statues become very valuable once again. The regen that kicks in here for these heroes is going to be very good. The Coda also going to fall. Very slow move speed, of course, when there's no TC around. That is more experience. And experience is the biggest problem of 1-0. Lich not even level 3 yet. Dark Ranger not even level 2 yet.
And 1,000 gold on Lyn. That usually screams for one item. That's a tiny Great Hall. Now level 2 for the Dark Ranger finally. By the way, thank you Ringelnet for the 7-month resub. More statues, but Lin's army looks kind of pathetic. Problem is, not much mana on the DK. Has to use the potion very, very soon. Miss is coming in, statue down, level 4. And this unlocks the real Blade Master, if not for 2 misses in a row.
No mana anymore. Not too much mana left. The Blade Master go to the shop. Immo Potion is on cooldown, going for the heal scroll instead. More healing is needed. Mana Potion on the Shadowhunter needs to be used. There it is. But still, not many heal waves are left.
Once again takes care of the Fiend and the Banshee. Instant reinforcements deleted by Lin. Dude, that was so unlucky. 2 hits missed and the crit. Are you kidding me? The value of Banshees, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. We see how Banshees, how strong they can be in the late game, especially against the Blade Master. The counter against it now coming in, the Walkers, which also means Spirit Link is going to be very good as long as there's no Destroyers. We have 1 Destroyer morphed, but that means no more statues on the ground. Every unit here is so valuable, so crucial for both armies.
And that Fiend is gone. Is it though? Raider kinda low. Walkers are coming in, not much Dispel. Lich is a target. Coil was used not too long ago. 216. That's the way. Aha. I like it. Supply gap is closing, but there was also Lin committing to Walkers that took some time. Level 40k. Wait a minute. Is Lin just losing way too much here with the 800 gold bank?
Yeah, having no mana on the Shadowhunter for healing is the big problem. Maybe gets another Fiend, and the levels are starting to get there. 4-1-0, level 4 DK is big. He doesn't need the Death Pact here, since his unit is always getting targeted. And how long has this fight been going, by the way? We've been at this for minutes now.
Lin, where are your reinforcements? You got 1,000 gold! Build!
Now starting to go into Headhunters. Doesn't have the Berserker training yet. Lin's macro could have been a bit better here.
I would argue a lot better. 1-0 finds his way back. Incredible. No big mistakes. He could have tapped out 3 times this game and nobody would have blamed him, I guess. But okay, no Banshee curse at the moment. Can he get the big crits? Not just yet. Frost armor applied immediately without much dispel. Blade Master! Oh! Out of the fight again. 1-0 finds a wonderful solution against the damage dealer of Lin.
Yeah, nice save as well there, though. With the Speed Scroll, Heal Wave, and the Spirit Link, everything to keep him alive. But the heroes for 1-0 still swinging. Not much mana anywhere. The statue now kicking in once again. Blade Master tries to return to deal more damage. But it's going to be the prime target once more. Heal Potion needed desperately, and a Heal Wave as well. This might be where Lin turns it around.
Destro gone. Statue attacked immediately as well. I'm still worried about that blade. 1 nuke is inbound! And oh, down he goes! That is the one thing that was not allowed to happen, and it does.
1-0, how does he come back from this game, dude? How did he come back from this game? Losing the DK in the early and the ghouls. And the Blade Master, I think, didn't find enough tempo there in the early game. Imagine if he had been level 4 sooner. But the game's not quite over yet. Lindo definitely in big problems right now. He's getting chased. This level 2 Unholy Aura is so good to find more and more kills.
1-0. No level 3 TC is very good what he did there. Prevented the leveling, saved quite a bit, gets the Blade Master out. There's a coil by dieback. Oh my god, what a throw by Lin. Despite the DK loss in the early game, it was a loss. Despite a 15 supply lead, he could never close out this game, and 1-0 sees his opportunity, plays it almost perfectly, and wins map 2.
Yeah, a bit of a shame for Lin. This was definitely a game he could have won, he should have won. A couple small mistakes, and 1-0 punishes him for it. Huge kill in the early game, but he doesn't creep fast enough after. He could have been level 4 way sooner. That was the first mistake. Second mistake, I think, was chasing way too far. When he was in the right lane, he chased all the way into the undead main base, lost way too much because of it, and then just was battling too much once again. The late game belonged to him. If he plays it more passive and levels up the TC safely to 2 and then maybe to 3, takes out the red camps, this could have been a way different story. The red camps weren't touched at all this whole game.
Exactly. Also, items, definitely a problem for Lin. I think he had only 1 invo potion this game, or maybe 2. 1-0 always a little faster with this. With more invo potions on the heroes, they are definitely safer, especially the Blade Master spends more time in the fight, and then he kills more, and then it's not a level 2 TC until the end of the game.
Yeah, it was still very close. Quite impressive how Monster was able to claw it back. Lin making a little bit more of a mistake there than I perhaps would have expected. I wonder how much of that is because of recency and are you in the game? Yeah, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. Recency in practice, because the thing is, Orcs had been playing Farseer Headhunter almost exclusively for like more than a half years. Now they've started playing Blade Master again, and Blade Master is certainly a lot harder to pull off. You have to have much better game sense. You have to know way better where you have to be at what time. It's tougher to execute in all the different ways, and the perfect execution is still lacking a bit here by Lin.
We thank you, Boss Force, for the 18-month resub. Turmbräu intensifies. That's the start into the weekend, I guess. Shout out. Just because it's a 2-0 for 1-0 doesn't mean we have a one-sided series. Definitely not the case. Also, these guys know each other inside out. They've been through best of 7s before, and we have seen crazy turnarounds. I remember one... Was it the most recent NEXT Grand Final where it was, I think, a 3-0 lead, and then all of a sudden it was a 4-3? It's been pretty crazy between the two. Don't underestimate Lin. Never count the War Chief out.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen an AWL between them before what Lin is capable of, also against Happy in the Show Cup. So this is a long series. It's far from over. But Lin is starting to feel the pressure. He really needs to score now on our third map, Northern Isles. If he does, he's going to have a chance to bring this back, strong performances. But if he ends up being down 0-3, it's almost impossible.
Almost impossible, but Lin oftentimes makes impossible things possible. Thank you, Stormlike, for the tier 1 sub. Much love. Been watching for a while. And finally, I sub to you guys. We thank you. And I hope you're enjoying this series. We take a look at 1-0's base. He's in the bottom left-hand side. Should just be the normal opener that has been established. What about Lin, though?
If there's no War Mill, and there isn't one coming now, this should be the Blade once more, indeed. Item drops here, not as good as on Autumn Leaves. Not so reliably can you get the claws. But the good thing is, if you don't find them, you can buy them from the market.
We've seen a plus 36 Blade Master here, or even a plus 40. But on the flip side, we've also seen plus 15 armor heroes here if you're a little unlucky with the rings. But yeah, Lin's items look good. Then of course you get the Kodo on top with the aura. That all helps, yeah. The early game on Autumn Leaves was pretty good. I wouldn't say flawless by Lin, but pretty good. He needs an opening like that again.
That would be wonderful for him and all the Orc fans out there, but to be fair, this DK is not going to die again in the early game. That's the one mistake 1-0 makes once in this series, and honestly, that's something that should lose him the game right away, but he did bring it back due to strong play, and Lin being, not quite perfect on map 2 there. But he's going to start off with Critical Strike first, maybe even for creeping, and yeah, hope for some good items, some claws, some slippers. Let's go. And what's the DK doing? Wait, is he expanding? No way, right?
There is no skull and no acolyte, so I know my game knowledge is not as high as yours, but that doesn't reek like an expansion to me. Maybe he just knows he can creep it with heavy ghoul usage, get a big item, and instant level 2.
Also, cool creep route. The Orcs never use a Peon Scout against Undead because they want to tech faster. So the Orc never knows really where the Undead's going. And if you're playing Farseer and you Scout, you're always going to check either the green or the Tuskar cap. Nobody checks the natural. So that's pretty cool. Fast level 2 for the DK, albeit a bad item. But there was 4 ghouls involved. That slowed down the tech quite a bit.
Yeah, and Orc tech's always, as you said, very, very fast. So there will be an opening again for Lin in the early game. Level 2 unlocked. That is Windwalk, Critical Strike first to, you know, speed things up a little bit, even though you're relying on luck. More reliably, the DK, but only tanky items? Maybe against the Blade Master, that's even a good thing.
Whoa. He bought the claws +9.
What?
300 gold.
Holy! Well, that's a ghoul skipped.
It also told him that the DK was creeping the natural. It's kind of cool because you have to creep the camp first for the item rotation to appear in the marketplace. He checked if there was an expansion. There is no expansion. So instead the DK, or the Blade Master, excuse me, goes into the main. The Windwalk expires at the worst time.
Oh no!
He can't use the backstab against the Acolytes. 1-0 should know now.
Little unfortunate. Thank you, Superman, for the €10 donation. Thanks for all you guys do for this beautiful game. A beer for each of you this weekend. Thank you. Let's see how many kills Lin can get. Losing ghouls, not the end of the world. Level 3 DK after 4 minutes 15 is insane.
Yeah, level 3 DK super early. One ghoul goes down, but if it's only one, it doesn't matter that much. That one can be saved with the coil. Oh, misclick on the coil.
Whoops.
The blade can't chase because he doesn't have mana. This is the blade. Not to forget, he used the speed scroll. Those are rare nowadays. And also almost his whole mana pool. This is not a good start for Lin. TC second. He's playing the blade TC Expo style again. That he played against Happy at WGL.
Okay. This is problematic. Definitely problematic. Thank you, Wodu Toot, for the 2-month resub. 20 years of Warcraft soonish. I'm starting to feel old. Don't we all? Oh my god. If 1-0 steals this. Oh no!
Dude, he was so greedy. He could have stolen it easily from long range, but he also tried to get the item. But that goes to the blade. It's the good one. It's the robe.
He gets the ghoul. Well. Oh my god, what a disaster. 1-0 completely destroys Lin on Northern Isles.
Rough one for Lin. As so often, during the first long nighttime, the orcs love to go for a greedy creep camp when they're not being scouted, but 1-0 scouting is always on point. Lin felt he had to take the risk, and the speed scroll was of course used before the grunt goes down, the experience goes to the undead, and this DK is gonna be level 4 real quick.
Oh my god. Not too many creeps remaining for the Lich. I guess. Not sure, man. This will be so tough.
This is, yeah, horrible early game for Lin. At least he saw that a sentry was placed in the middle. Maybe that gives him some reassurance. But, yeah, he's staying on tier 2. Double bestiary, trying to expand. Raider lane. Haven't seen Lin do this against Anna in a long time, but yeah, Raider lane, and I think it's a smart choice. He knows he's far behind. The only way he can win this is through building kill and economy advantage.
And how likely is that to succeed against a guy that won world championships before? Not too likely, I'd argue. Thank you, Stormlike, for the €1 donation. It was my donation to show my old Twitch name, Superman. Okay, thank you, mate. Thank you. Yeah, Lin. I mean,
the Skelly found him creeping again.
Yeah.
1-0 always knows.
The coverage by 1-0 was so good. He had a skeleton on the right-hand side, then ward in the middle, more skeletons to scout. This knowledge. Dead. Yep.
Oh my god, this game's over, boys. Let's go map 4.
Yeah, let's go more.
This one's in the books.
Mass murder. When do you ever see Lin outplayed like this? This is a once-in-a-decade disaster for Lin.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. The difficulty with Blade Master 1 borrow tech can oftentimes be keep up in creep speed with the DK ghouls. On the right map, ghouls can creep super fast, like we saw here. Passive creeping, but if you go natural, green, Tuskar, that's level 3. Yeah, the orc can't keep up with that creep speed. So Lin was trying to play aggressive, but it didn't work out. Used the speed scroll, didn't get an acolyte, only a ghoul. Only a ghoul exactly. And then loses the grunt in the middle. Maybe this map, not so good for Blade, considering how much faster the DK can creep compared to the Blade Master.
I like how Niftinger sees it. Says, go Lin, this was all part of the plan, reverse sweep incoming. It wouldn't have been the first time. He just... has to forget everything that happened, all the bad luck he had when like missing crits due to curse, and you know, the little bit of fumbling that happened here on Northern Isles.
Fumbly bumbly.
Yes. Fumbly bumbly. And now you gotta turn the ship around, Lynn.
Yeah. All right, Echo Isles.
Christ.
How about Farseer Grunt Expo? Let's go all the way back to old school style. Let's do it.
You know I hate the tier 2 expansion. Why do you have to bring this up? It never succeeds.
It is a very good map for Farseer Grunt Expo. You can even transition into late game if the undead counter expands. And that could be also in the cards for 1-0. Big lead, 3-0 here for 1-0. He can experiment now if he wants to. And if he wants to play a bit flashy, a bit extraordinary with a fast expansion, this would be the map to do it.
I am very curious. This is also the point that I wanted to bring up. Will he play Happy's Lich Fast Expo? Because Happy plays it all the time on Echo Isles now. So much that he was hard counted by Soen with mass headhunters. 1-0, usually not following too fast into Happy's footsteps. Maybe now.
Especially in the matchup against Human, it's become apparent that he's not a big fan of the Lich fast expansion. But against Orc, if that's a consideration, I'm not sure. We'll see.
Echo Isles, of course, also lots of claws. How many spots for claws, Remo?
95.
Exactly, 95 plus the marketplace. We are on map 3. Match points. Not 1, not 2, not 3. 4 match points in a row for 1-0. Good luck, Lynn. And thank you, Francis Tide. Another €10 donation just for the Casey and the Sunshine Band quote. That's the way. You are way better than CSGO casters, guys. That is probably the biggest praise one can get in all of esports.
That's incredible praise, you know. Thank you very much. That's very kind. And we appreciate that a lot. I don't think it's exactly true, but it's very kind. Thank you. Dude, CSGO casters are amazing. So, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta know, we love CSGO casters. We watch the big tournaments. We have our notepad on. We take notes on what they do. So, yeah, thank you. That was super kind.
All right, 1-0 is not proving to be too kind so far today. He's not handing out gifts. Well, on Autumn Leaves, maybe it was a gift at the beginning, that hero loss. But other than that, he's been looking ruthless. Farseer opening with the Grunt, but Headhunters could be played in Expo in a weird kind of way. 1-0 is going for the DK Ghoul opening once more. And might be thinking about an expansion, but I guess not so likely.
This feels almost uninspired when you compare it to like the Happy and Fly games, the Happy and Soen games. Relatively standard. But yeah, Lynn, after the Blade Master experiment failed twice, I can also see the psychological way of going back into Farseer, also on this map, of course. And he was always a fan of that tier 2 expansion, as you said. I never understood why, but I'm also not the one to judge Lynn on his amazing strategic thinking.
So it's a Farseer Grunt opening into Headhunter with a 2-borrow tech. I have seen some orcs recently play a tier 1 Expo with Farseer Headhunters.
Yes.
Has the big downside that your second hero is stupidly late. And you need that guy to level normally.
Fly played a tier 1.5 expansion when he was on the way to tier 2. That was so... Oh, that game was so sick. Oh, that game was so sick.
And 1-0 is creeping the natural first. This is easily enough doable with ghouls, but again, not expanding. No skull, no acolyte. He's gonna start tier 2 here in a moment, just as Lynn does. So we're going one base tech on both sides. And with Headhunters coming out soon, lots of stuff can be crept for Lynn.
For example, the middle, the one big consumable, up for grabs. 1-0, rather standard. Makes the turn to the Murlocs. Tier 2 started on both sides. Nothing super spectacularly happened, nothing out of the super ordinary. Maybe it's just about execution then.
And normally, we're used to seeing Lin play more aggressively nowadays against undead, if he's not playing a Blade Master or even with Blade Master. Because what we've seen is if the DK just creeps up really and gets level 3 with full mana, you're gonna be in big trouble. Lin now changing his playbook and just going for heavy creeping himself. He's gonna get close to 3, but not quite get it from this camp, whereas 1-0 will get it. I think this should be enough, right? Or it might just be not quite enough.
Remo, you're the master of the special creep route. If you don't know it, I don't know it.
I think it should be enough. Level 5 boy, 75 experience. Yeah, that must be enough. It's 92 on level 1. Oh, imagine a last hit.
Yeah.
If there's a chain lightning here, that would be so huge. Oh.
Feels like in this entire series, all the split decisions go to 1-0. Always that tad faster. And now ghouls against grunt is rarely going good for the grunts if they are surrounded. And never lose a grunt in the early game. He can trade a little bit. Finally unlock level 3. If only he had that a little bit earlier.
Kind of surprised 1-0 not trying to kill more. He's got 3 coils still in his quiver. And that could knock down those headhunters with their quivers quite quickly. But I guess the DK is also low HP. Maybe he's concerned about getting targeted. And he knows once the Lich comes out, that's when he can really put on the screws. And this was a good early game for 1-0. Lost only 1 ghoul, traded it for a grunt. He got his level 3, and his health and mana are still looking decent.
1-0 again with excellent skeleton scouting. Knows what's up. That was his big strength when he rose to fame in the year 2014-15. Headhunter creep speed, of course, nice. Creep AI a little wonky. It feels like Lin is really unlucky at times today.
I'm getting a bit concerned here for Lin. It seems like he's playing this game almost on autopilot. He's going like, yep, Farseer, Grunt, Headhunter, and then I go creep this one, and I go creep this one, and I check out what's going on here. Just creepy, creepy, creepy. But this is not what we've learned is the better play, and the better play is to be more aggressive. Think how different this game is. Map 1 on Concealed Hill. How sick of an early game was that?
Yeah.
Early pressure, then he fell back. Everything looked so tight, looked so precise, looked so perfectly prepared. And here it's just a lot less... what's the word? A lot less exact. A lot less proper, I guess.
Yeah, doesn't play the level 2 wolf power spike as well. Not too much. I mean, he steals a little green. And he doesn't even get it in its entirety. So... Oh, is he? But maybe we shouldn't be too harsh on Lin. He still has a chance with like one great fight in the mid game can still turn this game into Lin's favor and give him some momentum finally.
Maybe he lands those money stomps this time. Maybe he can take out the ghouls quickly. Maybe he gets the only invo potion and that can give him a good position.
Oh yeah,
you know,
Remo, we are 6 minutes 30 into the game. How can we
goodness.
how can we not mention shop control?
With the Farseer. Oh, sneaky lightning shield creep. 1-0 scouting is oftentimes out of this world, but he's not expecting this one. And this is a cool play. If it works. It's looking a bit fumbly-bumbly.
The wolves, really not the greatest. He denied.
Oh, denied. It's a bit unfortunate. But he's going to take the camp away, at least from the opponent. 1-0 scouting. His Skelly found the TC and gives him level 2 thanks to the Skelly experience. 1-0 now wants to find kills. With Coil Nova, diminish those headhunter numbers.
Another 10 euro donation. Crunchy K! Dual cast equal dual blast! Thank you very much, man. Much appreciated. Yeah, that...
Blasters! That reminds me of the Super Soakers. Back when we were kids, you remember? During summertime, the Super Soakers.
A player's forces are under attack.
Yes, I do. Did you have the one with
the
water tank?
Say, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did you not have a childhood?
Of course. The one question is, did you know someone who had the one with the water tank? Because that was OP.
Wait, didn't they all have a water tank?
On the back. It was connected with a tube or something.
Ah, like a jetpack.
Exactly. Just with
Oh,
water.
no. I didn't even know they had that.
Dude. I didn't either, but that was OP. Anyway, Tanky Farseer will turn in, or will pass these items over. XP wise, that should be better for Lin. It definitely is better for Lin, as you suggested. But the dangerous point of the game for Lin is yet to come. Tier 3 is done. Frenzy is coming. and the orb is there. Plus very good lich equipment.
Yeah, no invuln yet on the TC, which means the Dark Ranger could be super effective against him. If she sees ahead of time that the TC doesn't have the invul potion, he can perfectly play around it and use the silence and not be concerned with the ghouls being positioned carefully at all. However, if the Stomp and Chain Lightning connects, those ghouls can also be decimated quickly.
Should, must. It's very good that he has level 4 Farseer now. You're of course never the biggest fan of over leveling it. I think if you play it like this and you don't have Wyvern or any other source of big damage, level 2 Chain Lightning is almost necessary, mandatory. But yeah, the AoE is a whole different game compared to Concealed. That's Lin's biggest strength. And now creeping the Shadow Hunter. This looks a little more Fly-esque.
Oh, if he's perfectly in range for solo experience, it would be important to get that level 2, and he will from the big turtle. That's of course a problem with Echo Isles, one of many, that there's not many creeps around, and the Shadowhunter has a tough time leveling up, but all in all, we have a big experience lead on the orc, that's for sure.
Another ring, and close. 1-0, almost got him. Level 2 Lich, okay, but...
Oh, statue?
Oi, that's a big one.
Big mistake by 1-0.
That stomp
They
on
dodged
not...
the stomp, that was nicely done. But the statue's gone, no more region on the ground. This is a wonderful start for them.
There's a TP. No speed scroll. Lot of rings and tankiness in general. I don't even hate it on the Shadow Hunter here. To not be focused. Negates the effect of the Orb of Corruption. Lich far forward. There is a Nova. There's a Storm. Will it work? The Symphony of Orcs. Chain Lightning. Oh! 1 HP heal Invo Potion. And now how do you heal this TC up? You don't, but you get out of there. Ghoul's falling. Supply lead for Lin. But man, that could have been the game right here.
Yeah, that was a wonderful try on the hero kill as well by Lin. He catches the Lich and then I think he silenced the Dark Ranger to prevent the... Hex the Dark Ranger to prevent the silence to try to get the kill with a Chain Lightning. That was super close. Doesn't quite get it, but he gets out nicely with a TP and there was 4 ghouls killed and a statue for no units lost. And Lin seems to have a serious lead right now.
Tiny Great Hall. He was banking on that. He'll be rich, and if you guys continue to support us like that, we'll be rich soon as well. Lakritz, thank you for the 2-month resub. But 1-0 puts on the screws again. He wants to pressure. He wants to prevent the Tiny Great Hall. I remember a game between these two where 1-0 was canceling a Tiny Great Hall when it was building. No return from that. Oh, 6 silence right before the storm. He can't use it. He has no Invo Potion. Didn't make it to the shop. This is a crucial moment in the game. Lin can't fumble this again.
Dude, thankfully, the TC got these items. These items make him so much more tanky. Bonus armor, bonus evasion, bonus HP. If he didn't have these items, he would have been dead easily. But does he have the tiny? Yeah, he's got 600 gold just weighing down his mindset right now. It's just a wasted 600 gold right now in his pockets. Have you ever had 600 gold coins, Neo, in your pockets? You know how heavy that is?
Oh, no. There's, my phone, my cigarettes. There's no space for 600 gold coins. Also, I'm not strong enough. I need you to help me carry them.
I'm gonna figure that out next time. How's Lin gonna do this? He wants to push back this attack to finally get the Tiny Great Hall in. 1-0 is keeping up the pressure. The mana on the undead is still looking good. Coil comes in. TC again, silenced again, targeted. These items, man, these items so good for him. Chain Lightning coming through. Ghouls taking lots of damage. No heal scroll to heal them up. And I think Lin might be able to force away 1-0 here finally.
By sheer mass and spell use, Destroyer caught. Boom, that's 5 supply gone. Gets a Raider here and there. Okay, DK in trouble. Focus fire. This time, no, again. 15 HP. Clutch saves by 1-0 twice in a row. Both moments could have costed him the game, but they didn't. But now, finally, there's space and time for the Tiny Great Hall.
Managed to place it here. How many peons are still alive? Some were killed earlier in transit. So actually he only has 3 lumber peons right now. Needs to make a few more. But yeah, this Tiny Great Hall gonna pay off in dividends soon. Trying to get to the top of Farseer. Doesn't want to get surrounded here.
And again, shop control. This is exactly what broke Lin in Rejuvenation Cup, the last map against Happy. On Northern Isles, the undead always occupying. Of course, you don't have to spend too much time in the base to regen or anything. You just walk out, use the statues, you heal, you basically walk it off with undead.
TC still no invul. 120 knows he can rely on the silence. He's been focusing this TC a lot. Was that the right call? With these items, that perhaps not the perfect micro decision, but anyways, in we go. Beautiful concave on the orc, going for the lich right away, and he's just dead. Hex and stomp and focus fire, and that's it. GG, Lin gets on the board.
That was kind of anticlimactic, but the hero focus finally working. And now Lin is back. Now Lin got some momentum. Even though it wasn't not the flashiest approach in the mid game, his return into the series kind of started when he went to the mercenary camp creep spot. Took that away, took the higher levels away from the Lich. Yeah, he did deny it. But that was the moment it all turned around. And then he survived the fights bottom right. And then it all looked pretty good. I would suggest a tiny little break, Remo Demo. What about you?
Yeah, a quick one. Let's do it.
2:30 for some ads, of course. Back to warcraft.com/support. If you guys want to support us in any kind of way, you're doing wonderful tonight. After all, we also got Happy versus Lawlight coming up, so a long day of Warcraft here at Back to Warcraft. Be right back. Cutting the break a little shorter because the game has started. The Chinese need no breaks at all in their broadcasting. 3-1 for 120. Still 3 match points, but Lin has finally shown that he can beat 120 today.
Yeah, getting on the board, getting back into this game mentally. I was not so happy with the early game that Lin was playing there, and I think this could have been a tough game for him, but 120 seemed a bit complacent. Taking a lot of damage during creeping, despite getting level 3, finding no headhunter kills. I'll repeat that. Despite getting level 3 early and full mana, finding no headhunter kills. That normally doesn't happen. That normally is never supposed to happen. 120 definitely making the most mistakes there. On map number 4 that we saw so far, and is switching up his build for map 5. It's a good old Tet Fiend BO this time.
Interesting. I haven't seen that in a long time. We're on Tidehunters. It was all ghoul builds recently, and even Happy's Lich expansion from time to time. That is then, of course, a Dark Ranger second play. Maybe felt like, okay, if that didn't give me the headhunter kills, the Dark Ranger certainly will.
Yeah, I wonder if he's trying to blind counter something that he's expecting from Lin. It is considered that the Tet Fiend build, if played perfectly, and the Orc plays the Blade perfectly, works better than a Ghoul build if both play perfectly against the Blade on the other side. There's, of course, a lot of variance and a lot of variables that come into play there, but in general, this is supposed to be a little bit better against Blade. Perhaps he was expecting Blade, but that's not the case.
Thophia, thank you for the 9-month resub. Yeah, it is Farseer, and I would give the edge to Lin here. He has shown time and time again that he can play against exactly this strat the best. No way. That's a lot of damage here on the DK already. Once the Sea Turtle. Instant harass.
Yeah, I think I can be very happy with this opening.
Yes.
This is what we saw before the resurgence, the renaissance of the Ghoul build. This is what Undeads played all the time against Farseer Headhunters. And the thing is, you can have a good early game. You can get level 2, maybe even level 3, although level 3 is very unlikely. But you can't really get kills. You can't really get ahead. With a Ghoul build, just by getting kills, by getting surrounds, by getting more creeping, you can get ahead. With this opening, you can just have a decent early game. You can never get ahead as the Undead until tier 2. Lose the Acolyte, but okay, he has another one. I was about to freak out right here.
What's the Scouting Acolyte? I wonder... Wait. Isn't it kind of time for the second Ziggurat? There we go.
Sure is. I forgot about it for 10 plus seconds. 1-0. I don't know if Father Sleep is creeping into his eyes, if he's getting tired, but he's definitely making a few more mistakes here now.
Opening for Lin, more damage means more coils used for healing, means lower creep speed on top of the lower creep speed that he has due to the later Fiend. That's really not good. Tidehunters, Lin, once he got the momentum, this is what we were hoping for. Once he finds an opening, he has way more confidence, and it definitely shows. Deny. Thank you.
Farseer doesn't have too much experience here so far, but the DK doesn't even have level 2, and this is always the most annoying thing for Undead. If you don't get that level 2 quickly, having the aura, as I always like to mention, changes everything. Makes you so much stronger, whatever strategy specifically you're playing. Should be able to get it here, unless...
Dude, if he gets the last
But
hit
even
here.
if he doesn't get it, how long has it taken to just creep this little camp?
Well, okay. Oh, close! This is what I mean when both players are getting so good at that and reading each other for these last hit battles. 2 minutes 30 for a level 2. That's a long time. Also half a level for Lin. In the meantime, of course, Headhunter Production. TC is coming second. Tier 3. And creeping continues to get the chain lightning.
Keep wondering more and more why he played this ghoul build opening. Didn't play it, I mean. Why he played the old school Tedfiend build. Ghoul creeping is so good on this map. I have to think that it's because he was expecting a Blade Master. Or maybe there's something, I guess, that I'm not aware of. But I like Len's position. Yeah, he's only got double level 1 heroes. But look at this DK. He's barely level 2. And I would argue that in the late game, in Mass Fiends versus Mass Headhunters, this TC is going to have a much easier time also landing those stomps, as the Fiends, of course, are a lot slower than the Ghouls to run around the battlefield and make things difficult.
Yeah, I agree, but also if you play the Dark Ranger well, then there's all of a sudden 7 to 8 skeletons, and orcs really struggle to find a way against that. So in the super duper late game, both have good weapons to use.
1-0, super aggressive with all those skellies. Like you mentioned, those can be scary. Heading in towards the main base. The TC isn't quite level 2 yet. We'll get it here in a moment. Killing a burrow would be big. That would halt production for a long time, but then is quick with the repair, like he always is. I don't know if you saw that game where he played yesterday against Lawlight on Echo Isles, where he was getting tower pushed, AP pushed. So sick. How quickly he reacted to everything here. Also, he reacts quickly. Stomp being used, those skellies. You know, they give a bit of experience. He's gonna take that.
They do. And what now? Marketplace is always a good option for Undead. You can snipe that really, really fast. Maybe they're sharing the 2 unique spots in the middle, Marketplace and Merchant. But Lin has a very good idea of what's happening.
Yeah, he's gonna find the creep jack here. Can he get something with the stomp? One is they're certainly gonna pick up the item. And then it's gonna have to back up. Hits one fiend with the stomp. Farseer off to the side. Chain lightning. Oh, could have perhaps gotten the kill. The fiend's surrounded. What? Against the coral reef. It was actually surrounded. Oh wow, he didn't even need the chain lightning. Lin the god knew he had that kill anyways.
Isn't that a nice place to die though?
Well, Steve Irwin didn't like it too much.
We get the rest of the camp for the TC, getting closer to 3. Another Farseer is playing his harass strat. Shadowhunter coming, and that should open up the one shop to Lin, I assume.
At the moment, just creeping on the undead side. This is always great on this map, Tidehunters. There's tons of creeps to go around, especially in the south. So normally, even if you have a fairly late tech, or at least not a very fast one, there's always creeps for the Shadow to level. And it's such a big difference whether he's going to be level 2 or 3 in the late game.
He denied the 1 creep. Denies level 3 for now, but this should be impossible, even for a Lin, to get the Null Overseer. Nicely played around it by 1-0. But that's a lot of time for the TC. Also, claws help a lot on the Farseer to put in a little extra damage. And the Shadowhunter is out. I really, really like Lin's position.
A player's forces are under attack.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's got a decently sized lead. And I think, you know, earlier I talked about if you're not so used to playing Blade Master anymore, it's really easy to get the timings wrong and to be a bit inefficient on the map. This is what happened to 1-0 here. His early game creeping wasn't the best, but he did okay. And then on tier 2, he was heading over towards the opponent's gold mine and then attacking the main base and basically getting nothing done. You really have to be hitting your timings perfectly when playing this Dark Ranger style. I would say this hasn't really been achieved. And Lin has so much freedom to just creep up freely.
But I feel like the timing was on purpose by 120, creeping the natural for all the skeletons, maybe hoping that Lin wouldn't be there and get a burrow to find some time. But okay, here's the big fight. Coil used already, TC in the middle of it all. Invo Potion, Fiend down. Okay, creeps wake up as well. That's not too great for the TC. So much freedom for him. That was the second last Coil.
Oh, he almost had that Fiend. That was like a millimeter away from getting stomped. Ooh, that just barely missed. But he has more ensnares to use. Kodo goes down thanks to the Coil. So does the Raider. And suddenly, a bloody exchange on both sides. Freezer was used already, and the statues are still regenning up in the back. Lin doesn't take that fight so convincingly as perhaps he expected.
Sick Q wave here. Maybe a little overcommitment if you're up against the Dark Ranger. The undead forces are rising with every second thanks to the Black Arrow. But mana is low. One statue is already super low. And there's only one remaining. Lin steps back a bit. Goes for his own Overseer. Level 3 Chain Lightning will help against these skellies if he wants to. Kodo comes in as well. He checks out. Hey, is there an expansion? Any play? Did you go for the turtles? No? You're scared? Okay, let me get that consumable.
Yeah, 120 definitely was a little bit behind after the early game, but here with all those kills, he's back in the driver's seat. Probably now he has the lead. These consumables going to be huge for him. And something that has been reoccurring in this series, underleveled Shadow Hunter, proving to be a problem. Level 2 now finally, but he really wants that level 3. Sharing experience 3 ways. Not sure if that's ideal here, especially on the Farseer. This seems to be wasted experience.
Yeah, if he would be close to level 4, I'd say okay, Chain Lightning is really, really good. But yeah, maybe he just wants to be faster. No reinforced defenses. Destroyer up in the air. How many skeletons? Okay, Lin is there to defend his hometown. Raider gone. Almost no control in this fight. TC got a carry, but he has no Invo Potion. He's also locked behind his own units. He can't connect at all. That is a disastrous position for the Orc. And the series is on the line here.
That TC movement was horrible. Normally it's so great by Lin. He still has not stomp. Now he is. Needs a big play. Needs the hero kill. But he can't get it. The Coil flies. There's also an Invo Potion available, and more Headhunters going down. The Skellies are being raised. Lin with a botched opening to this fight, and there's just no mercy. 120 punishes him so heavily.
No mercy, no mana, soon to be no TC, maybe trying to squeeze in some reinforcements, also panicking a little with the reinforced defenses, but the TC is just getting sniped down by the Lich, calls for the GG. Again, not the flawless Lin that we are used to seeing, just like in map 1, we go full circle basically. He had such a lead and then gave it away unfortunately. 120, 4-1. Today, 4-0 in the league. That's incredible.
Yeah, 120 cannot be stopped at the moment. Not even giving up more than 1 map per opponent. Him and Happy now still flawless. And we'll see if that continues. 120 putting up one hell of a show. And it was supposed to be the Orcs to bring down the Undeads. But it hasn't happened yet.
Not yet, indeed. 120 has played Lawlight, Moon, and Sock, so this was his first Orc. Focus still has a chance, of course, to defeat him, but it all looks like 120 and Happy are now the favorites in this tournament. Lin is 2-1. Happy only 1 game played yet, but that will change right now as he's up against Lawlight. The DreamHack Grand Final rematch, the War 3 Champions Season 10 rematch, and the show match rematch, I guess. Coming up next, Lin wasn't able to conquer the Scourge and to destroy the Scourge. Maybe it's up to the Night Elves to do it and for Lawlight to do it. We'll be right back after a little break.